So I got into it with some of these guys, and I ended up beating the fuck out of 6 of them. They were all older than me. After that, I got arrested. And I got arrested for something that they said that I did, and I didn't do it.
Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about King Azoulay, a disgraced alpha male in the AMU, the alpha male universe. This guy, long story short, committed rape against a 15-year-old with his brother and his friend. He was actually convicted of it, so it's not a matter of it being an allegation or not. This man admitted guilt to this crime. Everybody's angry. Everybody's upset. However, I thought maybe I made too many videos about this guy, but I reached out to the community and y'all said to stay on his neck. So that's what we're going to be doing today. In this video, there is somebody that actually went to school with him, and we're going to get a lot of insight into the person that King Azoulay is. With that being said, let's get into the clips.
What's up, YouTube? This is a video I've been wanting to make for quite some time now, and I feel like right now is the appropriate time to do that. So I want to talk about Ben, aka King Azoulay. King, yeah. All right. I went to middle school and high school with this clown. All right. So anyways, he was wearing this oversized gray hoodie. He had his hood on, beatboxing. I'm with my group of friends. We had some girls around us. And I was by no means a tough guy. I was a skinny skater kid. And I'm still by no means a tough guy. I'm not a fighter. I'm just a guy that likes lifting weights. So Ben, he was beatboxing and rapping before school started, and someone from my friend group shouted, "Shut up!" We were tired of hearing him. I mean, we didn't want to hear his garbage raps. It was horrible. It's fair enough. So he said, "Hey, who said that?" And me, I had this girl that I was crushing on. Her name was Courtney. So, Courtney was standing there, and I raised my hand and I said, "Me, I said it." So he walks over to me, and he was like 2 grades above me. So he was bigger than I was. This is before I hit puberty too. I was a little scrawny kid. He walks over to me and gets in my face. And I remember his nose was right here, and I took a step back and I jabbed him in the nose, thinking I'm gonna get my ass kicked right now. But I had my friends with me, so I wasn't too worried, but I thought for sure I'm gonna get my ass kicked. But I was trying to impress a girl. So I punched him in the nose. What happened next definitely surprised me. Instead of him fighting back, he just grabbed his nose and goes like this. And then there was some blood dripping out of his nose. And I thought, all right, he's going to fight back. But no, instead of fighting back, he started crying. Full out started crying, bawling tears. And then ran towards the office. I don't know if he went to the office.
5 minutes later.
And one day, there was 5 Mexican dudes trying to jump me in the bathroom. I beat the shit out of them. I left one of them with his head in the toilet. When I left school, the following day, I came back. As I was leaving school, they came and they started shooting at me. So, it started getting more violent. And if they can't beat you by hands, there was 5 of them, and they had to use some other force, which was guns.
I'll be sure to put his YouTube information down below. Now, King Azoulay has always tried to portray himself as a supreme alpha male. He has these crazy stories that he's beaten 30 guys at once, that he's a kung fu master, and apparently he beat up 5 Mexican dudes in a bathroom and even left one of their heads in a toilet. The guy has always been a storyteller, and I think he tries to tell so many fake stories to cover up the truth, which is that he is a monster are right, but the truth is out now about this guy. Nobody believes anything he says. This guy has faked his entire life. Now, when we have somebody from the same high school that he went to tell the truth, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, this guy who's making this video, maybe he's lying on King Azoulay's name. No, considering what we know about the character of this alpha lame, I have no inclination to deny what this guy is saying. I fully believe him. I totally believe that King Azoulay is not the person he says he is because he has hidden a dark secret from everybody.
The Office. I don't know if he went to The Office because none of us got in trouble for this or nothing came about it, but he ran over towards The Office and that was it. So I think it's funny when he's out there claiming he beat up his dad at a young age and, you know, he was an underground street fighter and whatnot. We had a lot of mutual friends. You know, I was in the Persian group, he was in the Israeli group, and we had a lot of mutual friends. I seen him at all the house parties throughout high school. I mean, he was just the guy that was always around, and he was always annoying. Now, some of the Israelis that he hung out with, they were some tough dudes. I'll give him that. You know, some of his Israeli friends, they were some real fighters, and I seen these guys get into loads and loads of fights. So a part of me feels like some of these stories he's telling stories about some of his friends, but throwing a lot of salt on these stories. But Ben was never a tough guy. I mean, later on, he got a nose job, and, you know, that's why the nose he has right now looks the way it does. But I'd see him at house parties all the time. He was always the guy that was barking, but I'd never seen him get into one altercation. Ever. It was always the kind of guy that would run his mouth, and, you know, everyone knows that guy, the hey, hold me back guy, hold me back. That was him. And then for him to be claiming that he's got hundreds of millions of dollars and retired by the age of 24, the dude used to room, I don't know if he still does, but I know just like maybe a year or two ago, he was roommates with one of my friends who's in his 20s. And this guy's a good dude that he was rooming with. And he's actually a pretty good fighter. I think he's going to go pro soon if he's not pro already. But I feel like anything that Ben knows about fighting are all stories from people around him that he regurgitates and puts himself as the main character and throws some spice onto it.
So King Azoulay is a person who saw everybody else do the things he wished he could do. He's always been a storyteller. He's always lied about various events that have occurred in his life. He's claimed that he was part of the FBI, completing tier 1 missions defending the nation's security, doing lots of crazy feats like taking on 30 men. Now, maybe he took on 30 men in a different way, but I sure as hell know that he never in his life fought 30 men at once. That's just not happening. And I think it's completely plausible that King Azoulay has always just coveted, he's always desired a much cooler life, wanting to do things that are more high speed or something like that. And it's this massive insecurity that has grown into this whole alpha male grift. And I think it makes total sense. I think it makes absolutely 100% sense. And if you think so, maybe you disagree, then be sure to comment down below because I would like to hear your thoughts about this. But it is really interesting to hear how this guy went to school with King Azoulay and everything is fake. I mean, I never thought any of it was real, but it's kind of reassuring to know that we're on the right side here.
But the funny thing is, if you got hundreds of millions of dollars, then why are you sharing a place with a 20-something-year-old? Does that make any sense to anybody? I don't know. Maybe he likes being around dudes. Who knows? But I got more stories, right?
Yeah, it makes no sense for a alpha male to claim he's worth $700 million but still have a roommate. Now, does that make any sense to you? No, it doesn't, because the alpha male grift is all a front. You just need to look wealthy, you just need to look strong, but you don't actually need to be those things. And these stories about King Azoulay really just reveal his character that we all know. It just really builds on top of the evidence that this guy is a grifter, he's a liar, and he's a manipulator. But now there are even more stories to be said.
What's up, YouTube? I'm back. It's part 2 to my video. So I want to address the questions that I've been getting about Ben's R case. Obviously, I can't say the word due to YouTube's heavily censored policies. And bear with me, guys. I'm new to YouTube. I really didn't have any reason to make YouTube videos prior to this, but once I've seen what's going around, I can't keep my silence. I mean, I personally knew this guy. I went to school with him. How can I sit here and keep my silence? So bear with me. I'm new to YouTube, guys. But anyways, so yes, I do remember that incident. I was not at the house party that they were at, but I do remember that time period where this happened, and it was big news around town. And it was Ben, his younger brother, and his name is actually pronounced Moore. I do remember when all three of them R'd this poor girl. We'll call her H. And H was in my school. She was a grade below me. She was actually my best friend's sister's good friend. And H was a very bubbly personality type girl. She was, from what I remember from her, she was always smiling and always happy. I remember she was like one of the bubbliest people I have to this day ever met in my life. You know, she was on the cheerleader team. She was good at cheerleading. You know, she was just this all around bubbly personality, good energy, just the type of person that, you know, has kind of like a magnetic type of personality. And it really, you know, so this, I had completely forgotten about this. You know, it was so many years ago. And when I saw John Bravo's video of him digging it back up, because they tried really hard to bury this. And you guys know how Johnny is. Johnny will find dirt on anybody. So, you know, thank you, John Bravo, for, you know, getting that stuff put together and calling this guy out, because he truly deserves to be called out on all his lies, and especially this horrific thing he did to H.
I understand that YouTube, the internet, for many people is a place to just come, chill, relax, unplug from the world, because people's lives are really busy, they're hectic, it's stressful. However, in a situation like this, we have a duty to call this shit out. The fact that King Azoulay attempted to hide all of this so nobody could ever find it, it's really sinister. He tried to do this grift knowing that he committed an atrocity. He tried to lie to everybody, manipulate everyone. You know, some of the things he says are just so ridiculous that it's like a joke, right? But it's important to make videos exposing this guy, because we cannot allow this type of behavior to continue. This is really why I made the AMU. I made it to call out the bullshit that we see every single day. And truthfully, I'm sick of it. I'm sick that there are monsters that are emboldened and will even brag about this shit. Like, as you can see on the screen right there, King Azoulay bragging about how he's more famous now and how it's all BS. This guy admitted to guilt. This guy admitted to doing this monstrous act, but we're the ones that are liars. We're the ones saying bullshit. No, King Azoulay, you can go fuck yourself, because that shit is disgusting and you deserve to be called out.
So I remember when that happened, you know, it was big word around town, and I'm not sure of all of them, but I remember Moore, he fled to Israel. I believe they all fled to Israel at one point for some time, and then obviously they all ended up coming back and got arrested when they got back. And, you know, as you guys saw from the court documents, Ben admitted to what he did, and even ratted on Moore, which was his best friend. I don't know if they're still friends, but back then, they were like this. So, so about H, it really breaks my heart, because after this happened to H, it changed the girl, and as it would change anybody. I remember one day at school, by the cafeteria, she was wearing her cheerleader's outfit, and I just saw her break down in tears, and the sadness on this girl's eyes, and her energy was just so sad. And I mean, of course, who wouldn't be? If it happened to anybody, they would feel that way. I mean, it's horrific, but this is tough. Like, I really don't like talking about this kind of stuff, but I do remember H broke down at school one day, and by the cafeterias. Just it was like the break between second and third period. We had like a 10-15 minute break, and she just completely broke down in tears, bawling, sobbing. And I remember her friends came, damn fly. Her friends came to, comfort her. I remember the dean of the school, the nurse, and a few staff members. They came because she was hysterically just bawling her eyes out. And they took her to the office. I believe she went to the nurse's office because she was so hysterical. And I don't really remember seeing her after that. From what I remember, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I do remember that she either took the high school exit exam and left high school early, or she, I don't remember her finishing from that school after that incident where I saw her just completely break down.
Y'all, I'm seriously like so mad about this situation. I get that YouTubers will exaggerate stuff or reaction or whatever, but I'm truly like extremely upset, y'all, because the act was already monstrous. But when King Azoulay came out yesterday or 2 days ago, however long ago it was, and was proud of it, was bragging about it, was happy that others are making him quote unquote more famous, I wanted to send my fist through my computer screen. And I'm a guy that has a really good control over my emotions. I am a very stoic person, right? That is the type of guy I am. But when I heard that he was bragging about it, I wanted to smash my computer. And I'm not lying. I truly was so upset hearing about it, because this guy is bragging about it. What type of freak, what type of monster do you have to be to take joy in that shit? And he has the nerve to sit here and say that he can teach the next generation of young men. Teach them what? To be a monster?
And it's really sad and disgusting what these guys did. But on a positive note, I did look up her profile, and it looks now that she seems to be doing well. It says that she got a bachelor's and a master's degree in psychology, and she's a therapist for children, and I believe it said substance abuse counseling or substance abuse therapist as well. So thankfully, it looks like she was able to move past these horrific events and use it to become a licensed psychologist. And I'm very proud of her for doing that. A lot of people in her shoes would not have been able to move past that, but it looks like she took her situation and created something out of it, and I'm very proud of her for doing that. But yes, I do remember that time, and it was big word around town, and all three of them, there's no excuse for what they did. I mean, I saw Ben said he's going to make some kind of video addressing what's going on. I'm really curious to see what he's gonna say to this, because there's really nothing you can say. I mean, he was of age, and he R'd a minor, yet alone a minor who had never had S before. And for it to be her, I mean, she was such a bubbly, bright girl. I just don't understand. Yeah, she was heavily intoxicated, but I mean, come on, how big of pieces of S's are you guys to take advantage of a poor, happy cheerleader that was at a party trying to have a good time? I don't like talking about this. I really don't. It boils my freaking blood. But yes, I do recall the whole incident, and they tried really hard to brush it under the rug. But thank you, Johnny Bravo, for digging up the dirt and for exposing this guy for who he actually is. So I just wanted to address that matter. I got more topics on this guy, so stay tuned. I got more parts coming. Thanks, guys, for all the love. See you next time.
For most people, when they experience such a traumatic event, such as what King Azoulay, his brother, and his friend did to her, it's over for them. They don't want to keep on going because they experienced something that most people will never have to endure. But at least in this situation, the person who was harmed so tremendously was able to keep on going and to keep their life and even try to help others. But at the end of the day, this is a monstrosity. It's ridiculous that we even have this guy on Instagram bragging about stuff, showing off what he's eating, what cars he's driving. Him and his Queen Azoulay grifter wife just keep peddling the same bullshit. It's ridiculous, guys. And that's why I make these videos, to call out these alpha males, because they are trash people and someone needs to do it. So that's going to be the video today. I know it was a bit more serious than my usual ones. Usually we try to have fun, but you're not going to be taking this shit lightly. We're going to all be taking it seriously. So I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.